1 Corinthians 13:8, love never fails. I want to open this video by stating this because this is a video which is going to be different from any video I've ever made yet. Guys, today we're going to talk about what's going on with the world, I think, but it is going to be a more generic video. It is not going to be a video about a specific subject. It is going to be a video about what I think is happening in the world when it comes to peace and love, because I think that peace and love are two of the most important things. And we're going to talk about many things. We're going to talk about the evil elites around the world spewing hate, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all of the hate which is being spewed upon the populace of the world. And this is going to be a video for peace, for love, because we cannot live with hatred in our hearts. We have to love everybody. As the Bible says, love never fails. That's my favorite Bible verse by far. As much as I'm not an expert of the Bible, of course, I haven't read it yet. Guys, as I said, 1 Corinthians 13 is truly my favorite Bible verse. The Bible is, of course, one of the best books in the world, and I read it thoroughly. However, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take months probably to read the whole Bible. But guys, this is a video in order to try to calm the people. So we have seen UK riots, we see more and more riots, we see more and more violence occurring, we see the population being more and more divided, we see especially America being more and more polarized, and these guys just simply cannot happen. What has to be done? What has to be done, guys? I think that we should all seek unity, we should all seek unity, we should all try our very best to be united. There shouldn't be so much difference when it comes to politics, for example, from the left and the right. There shouldn't be this war between the left and the right, let's call it in that way. There shouldn't be this whole thing, oh, the person on the left is bad, the person on the right is bad. There shouldn't be all of this insulting. It should be completely different. It should be, I think, a confrontation, and you should see your opponent as such rather than as an enemy. That's, I think, what we need that kind of unity back. And we don't need censorship. Definitely we need all voices to be heard, and censorship, it is very bad, because when you have censorship, you will have always a side which is being censored. On the other hand, you will have another side which is not being censored, and the side which of course is being censored will complain about that and will probably spew hate on the other side, because that's the natural reaction that a human would have in that situation. So you cannot blame the side which is being censored for that. You shouldn't censor anything. That, I think, is what has to be done. Absolutely. Freedom of speech is one of the core of democracy. We cannot sit here and pretend it isn't. Freedom of speech is one of the core of democracy. We have to protect freedom of speech at all costs. In regard to that, I think that Elon Musk and Chris, especially, respectively, the ex-CEO and the Rumble CEO, are doing a phenomenal job at restoring freedom of speech in the world, and we have to all be thankful for that, because if there weren't those two great companies, probably we wouldn't have freedom of speech now, and we wouldn't have so many more voices speaking. So we have to thank those two great CEOs of those two great social media platforms. I think that it has to be done, quite frankly. That's what I believe. And freedom of speech is one of the cores of democracy, and we have to protect it at all costs. If there is freedom of speech, violence will less likely occur, I think, because all voices will have their chance to be heard. All voices will be able to say what they want to say, and of course within the law. And if you have all the voices being able what they want to say, it is very positive for society as a whole, because confrontation can happen. And the thing is, when you censor somebody, when you cut a man in stone, this is a quote I heard, when you cut a man in stone, you're not proving him wrong, you're just proving that you fear what he might say. This actually is spot on, guys. This is absolutely and utterly spot on. When you cut a man's tongue, let's think about this quote for a second. When you cut a man's tongue, you're not proving him wrong. You're just proving that You fear what he might say. This is spot on, guys. Because you censoring another person in order to have control over information does not make your idea right. It just makes it more and more suspicious. Why would an idea, an opinion which you so strongly believe in, need censoring another side's opinion in order to stay alive? Let's think about this for a second. Guys. Let's actually reflect on this. If I'm so confident on the things I say, if I believe so strongly in the things I say, I am gonna be fine with other people speaking, because I am confident that I will debunk their ideas which I consider to be wrong. That is a strong opinion. That is a sign of a strong opinion. On the other hand, censoring another side is a sign of weakness, of sheer weakness. You are highlighting to the world the fact that your opinion is not strong, or that at least you don't believe in it fully, that there is something under, there is some sort of skeleton in your closet which you're trying to hide. That's what you're actually showing. We have seen many people working in the media deeming guys as misogynists, white supremacists, all of these labels, and then being found guilty of heinous crimes such as pedophilia and all of that stuff. Why? Why so? Let's think about this. Why does it happen? It happens for many reasons. And I think freedom of speech is possibly one of the cores, if not the core of democracy. There is this illusion of democracy. So that's what I personally think regarding freedom of speech. And regarding peace, we are seeing more and more wars happening, more and more wars starting. Now, I have been asked to make videos about wars, but I'm not going to make videos about wars for many reasons. I'm not going to take any political position on any war for the moment. It may change, of course, in the future. I'm not going to talk on behalf of me, of the future. I'm not going to talk on behalf of the Alessandro of 20 years old. I'm not going to do that, frankly. However, what I will do right now is to call for peace, guys. Let's just be peaceful. And there is a very great quote about war, and I'm gonna play the clip of Elon Musk saying this. I mean, clips will be played in this video, because if clips are not played and it's just me talking, it's a dull and boring video which nobody will watch. And quite frankly, it is fair to do that if I just speak and show nothing. But needless to say, let's come back to Elon Musk's quote. So Elon Musk said, I'm going to paraphrase the quote and I'm going to play it to you. So he said something like, wars are fought for the interest of people in power, not for the interest of common people. That is the whole concept he was trying to, express. And I'm going to play the clip, of course, where he says it more correctly than I did.
Don't know each other, killing each other on behalf of old men that do know each other.
But wars are not being fought because civilians want that. In fact, there is no civilian, there is no person who wants wars other than people in charge, other than the people in charge of the world, other than the evil elites in charge of the world, who think about money, who think about their interests before than the lives of people. So that's the reason why wars are happening. Everybody knows that. Unfortunately, the few presidents, I mean, let's look at this. The few presidents who didn't want wars were all shot. We can make endless examples. Let's just think about two in 2024. Trump, he had no wars when he was in charge of the USA. He was shot this year. And I mean, he's one of those guys who didn't start the war. Slovakia's president, I don't remember his name, Robert Fico, got shot. He doesn't want wars. It's not a coincidence. And also many presidents in the past, I'm going to show you maybe a list of them. I don't know, I'm not sure about that. So guys, when it comes to peace, I call for peace. Let's be peaceful. Because I'm going to play a clip now, which is very important, of Andrew Tate. I played some clips of him, but this one is very great, I think. He made a very good point in his latest interview with Piers Morgan. The enemy is not the enemy are not the other poor people. It's not poor versus poor, it's poor versus rich.
Would you like to take this opportunity finally to tell the rioters to stop rioting? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Well, considering I've been saying that for the last 4 days on Twitter and you didn't read any of the tweets out, they should be in front of you. There's at least 30. Let me make it clear to the people on both sides of the equation, all of my brothers in Islam and all of the Christians and native people of the UK who feel like they're underrepresented. You have more in common with the people you live amongst than you do with these political elites. The people you live amongst love their children and they're struggling to pay the bills exactly like you are. There's no reason for UK, one of the greatest countries in the world, one of the largest empires in history, to be plunged into poverty if it wasn't being looted by a political class that do not care about you. And the people who do not care about you, the number one thing they want is the different breeds or different types or different categories of poor people to fight so nobody looks up and sees who the real enemy is. Britain can be a rich country and it can be prosperous and it can be safe and it can be regulated and the police can respond and it can be as beautiful as a lot as the first world Islamic nations are. There's no reason why it has to be the way it is unless a political class was failing the people who they're supposed to represent for generations. And that's where this anger and hatred comes from. Not because a video was made on Twitter. That is so infantile and asinine to believe that some little video on Twitter started all of these things.
Here's what I
That is what's happening. So stop rioting amongst each other and realize who the real enemy of your freedom is. When you understand the truth about this world, listen, I was born on a Luton Council estate and now I have hundreds of millions of dollars. And let me promise you, it's never poor versus poor. It's rich versus poor. When a black billionaire and a white billionaire meet, there is no racism because they are billionaires. Racism is what they use to divide the poor people, to stop us realizing that they lie about every single thing on the news, that they inflate the currency constantly, they send our money away to wars we're not interested in. Nobody can afford their bills. Nobody can afford health care. And you're going to die alone in some nursing home because you can't afford a nice house, because even then they're going to inheritance tax it. They don't want you realizing the truth, and that's why. They want the poor people to fight the poor people.
You know what, Andrew? I agree.
So don't fight against the other guys. Don't fight against the Muslims if you're a Christian. Don't fight against the Christians if you're a Muslim. Fight together, peacefully protest against all of the ridiculous things which the people in charge of the world are doing. This is my message. Please, please, to all the people who are watching this, don't turn on violence. Don't be violent. Violence is unacceptable. Violence is not what we should do. We should be peaceful. We should protest for our ideas, stand up for our ideas, and not fight the other person. And we should let the other person say what they want to say. So this is, guys, my message for today. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Other than that, I also wanted to say this: be nice, be a nice person, be a great person, try to help the other person. And it doesn't necessarily mean to be kind, but being kind is good in many situations. In other situations it's not good, because maybe you have to be more straightforward, but just be nice, just try to do always the best thing. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the show, and let's get to 100 subscribers as soon as possible. Thank you very much, guys, and see you with new videos in the upcoming days. Bye bye.